hard to do that.
All right, just watched the movie Skyscraper. Thought I'd do a quick review on it because it was so ridiculous. I felt like I had to make a video about this and warn people that you probably shouldn't watch this movie. Hey, yeah, I am going to have spoilers, by the way, so if you don't want to know what happens, then shut it off now. This movie is The Rock's in it. I'm a big fan of The Rock. By the way, real quick, I just want to throw this out there. Why don't The Rock throw Austin a bone and do a movie with Austin? You know, he kind of made you The Rock. If you didn't feud with him, you probably aren't who you are. Nonetheless, come on, get Austin in one of your movies. I think it'd be cool. This movie was very, very predictable. You could almost call the entire movie. Actually, we did call most of it. The Rock's character was I guess, it didn't really say he was in the special forces, but he was an FBI agent, and there was a situation. The movie starts out, he's trying to save these kids from their dad, and he's kind of nuts, and he ends up causing an explosion. The Rock is in there, his team's in there. He ends up losing half his leg, and the doctor that helps The Rock when he goes to the hospital, he ends up marrying her, and they have kids. So now he's with this doctor, and they have moved into this giant 200 some story building in Japan, which looks structurally almost impossible to build, but nonetheless, it's a movie. Here I'm just gonna jump right into it. The whole premise behind this movie is it's kind of like Die Hard, the original Die Hard. Where there's a big movie, there's terrorists. It's along that same lines. This Japanese guy that owns this building, he has this gimmick. These guys want this gimmick, so they start a fire on the 96th floor, shut all the fire extinguishing computer software down to where the building will just burn. The Rock and his family, ironically, are the only family living in this place above the 96th floor. Everything else is below it. And then on the penthouse is the guy that actually owns the building. He lives in the penthouse on the top floor. Okay, The Rock and has this buddy of his. They kind of have designed this security software system, but they're presenting to this owner of this building, and he agrees, and they install this software to like a security. He's like a security software gimmick he came up with, him and this buddy of his that was in the FBI with him. Well, his FBI buddy double crosses him and gets with this terrorist group, and they take over the building. Well, The Rock ends up getting into a fight with this guy. Now, they left the building at this point. The Rock is in a separate location. This guy turns on The Rock because The Rock was supposed to have this iPad or whatever it was called in his possession, this bag. These guys stole the bag. They just wanted the iPad. They didn't want The Rock. Well, he put the iPad in his coat pocket. Well, they get back to the guy's place, and Rock says, "I'm glad I didn't put this iPad in this bag." Well, the guy turns around with a gun and says, "Man, you should have had it in the bag. Yeah, I'm with these guys. We're gonna take over the building. I didn't get nothing. You got this. When you got the explosion, you got this house to live in or whatever." Nonetheless, they get in this really physical, heavy-duty brawl. The Rock has one leg. Remember this. He has one leg. The guy takes his leg off. So The Rock's hopping around fighting this guy on one fucking leg. This fight goes on for probably a good 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, it's a physical fight. You know, there's two guys fighting, throwing punches, flying all over the house, going through shit, breaking glass. After this fight, The Rock he accidentally shoots the guy. The guy pulls a gun, The Rock turns the gun on him, he shoots him, he fucking dies. Anyhow, there was this big physical fight. Now, The Rock, they're coming to this place to get The Rock. They know where he's at to get this thing, this notepad. The terrorists are. So there's like a a terrorist unit. Part of that unit comes to this house. He's trying to fight them off. Now the police are after him too because they think The Rock has something to do with the building being on fire. So now at this point, they set the building on fire. Now his wife and kids weren't supposed to be there, but somehow they're there. They went ahead and lit the damn thing anyway. And after this massive explosion to start the fire, the wife's iPhone survives the explosion. Everybody else dies, except for the wife's iPhone. iPhones are tough, man. Anyhow, okay, now here we go. The Rock, he had this big physical fight. He's beat up, he's bleeding, he's cut, he's one leg. He gets on a motorcycle and rides back to the building that's on fire. So he's got to get in there to save his kids, his wife. So he sees a crane that's next to the building, and the crane's probably 100 stories tall. So now he's got to get to this crane. He gets to the crane. But the cops are chasing him. So he's got to try to elude the cops and get to the crane. So now he gets to the crane. Now they can't. There's an elevator that takes you up top with a crane where you can operate the crane because it's so high. It's locked. So The Rock has to physically climb 100 fucking stories, climbing up this crane after he just had this real big physical brawl with this guy. The Rock's a big dude. He's probably almost 300 pounds in this movie. He's not no 260. He's 300 probably. He's huge. So he's going to get tired. Right? And no, not this fucking movie. Somebody climbs this fucking tower. Climbs 100 stories. Climbing. Not upstairs. He's just climbing. So the police, they bust open the elevator. They realize he's climbing up. So they try to beat him up to the top. Of course they don't. He gets in. And now The Rock, now here's the thing. The Rock was an FBI guy. Okay? He somehow knows how to fucking operate a 100-story crane. He knew how to swing the hook to make the hook swing to where it would knock a hole in the building. Okay, now get this. He moves the crane around. It goes around to the building. He extends it out as far as it'll go. Then somehow he knows how to swing the hook on the crane. Knocks a hole in the glass. Now he gets up on top of the crane, and it's probably a good 50, 60-foot gap between the crane and the building at least. And The Rock's big 300-pound ass that probably runs a 6'6" on a 40-yard dash, runs all the way the length of the crane, jumps off in the air, and it's in slow motion, and he just barely gets a hold of the building, but he makes it. He makes it to the building. This guy should be fucking physically exhausted at this point. There's no way he should be able to do all this. Nonetheless, he did it. Now now the fun starts. Now he's in the building. Now the fun starts. Now let me get back to my notes here. The Rock should be exhausted. He's not. Now, the terrorist gets up to his wife. His wife is a neurobrain surgeon. Okay? But she somehow knows how to defend herself from a knife attack by a man. And she knows how to do a judo hip toss because she kicked this guy's ass and pulled a knife on her. I don't know how many brain surgeons that know how to do fucking mixed martial arts, but that was unrealistic. Come on, that's unrealistic. That's just no way. iPhone survives explosion, unrealistic. Okay, there was a scene where the Rock catches up to his wife. There's like a bridge that's broken in half. Okay, and he's got to take this plank. This is like kind of in the middle of the building. So he's going to take this plank and put it over. So the wife and the Rock are on one side, and the little boy's he's on the other side. He's in the middle. They're going to take this plank, okay, and flip it over and walk across the plank and get the kid and come back. Well, The Rock can't do it because, number one, he's too fucking big. They were at least smart enough to realize that. But somehow the very end of this platform is breaking. So The Rock ties couple ropes around. He draws it up with his. He's holding the bridge up so she can walk across it. Now, when she first starts walking across the bridge, it shows a close up of her feet. She's wearing like a stiletto boot with a heel on it, about 4 inches tall. And I pointed that out. I'm like, that's how's she walking across that with those kind of boots on? Then it cuts and it goes to a little bit further away shot, and she's wearing combat boots. So she switched shoes mid plank walk. That was a continuity mistake. I just had to point it out. It had the Enter the Dragon ending. Have you ever seen the movie Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, where it has all the mirrors, and it's that mirror special effect going on where he thinks he's there. They did the same thing in this movie. It was boring, stupid. And the wife ends up at the end of the movie. The wife finds the Rock kills all the bad guys. While the Rock's sitting on the floor waiting to burn to death with his daughter crying, telling her, I'm sorry. Well, the wife finds the iPad, and she, not only is she a neurosurgeon and a mixed martial arts expert, she's also a goddamn tech genius, because she figured out how to run this iPad and make the building and reboot the power in the building so the sprinklers would turn on. Not only did the sprinkler system turn on, guess how long this building was raging inferno? There was 100+ stories on fire, raging inferno. Do you know how long it took them to turn that fire off? Do you know how long it took for that sprinkler system to put that fire out? 3 seconds. The building was completely out in 3 seconds. I'm not bullshitting you. 3 seconds. You couldn't put a fucking grill out in 3 seconds, let alone a goddamn raging, burning fucking inferno. I wrote real big, like, goddamn raging inferno, gone in 3 seconds. And at the end of it, The Rock has got, there's so many cliches in this from different movies. The Rock's coming down, he's got his daughter with him, and he's looking for his wife. He's walking through the crowd. He's yelling whatever. I just kept saying Adrian because it was just like when Rocky was yelling, Adrian, Adrian. He's doing that walking through the fucking crowd. And his wife shows up, and they all live happily ever after. That's my review of Skyscraper. It was so unwatchable, so predictable. I can't believe The Rock. I mean, he probably made $20 million for them, but come on, dude. Your movies are getting fucking ridiculous now. You did make some cool shit. Now this was dog shit. This was crap. I will say that I liked the gorilla movie. It wasn't bad. There was some cheesy parts in it, but it wasn't bad. I liked the Earthquake movie. It was pretty good. But now you're getting you're turning into Schwarzenegger. You're turning into you're making, and Stallone making these cheesy 80s movies. That's what this looked like, was a cheesy 80s movie. It was ridiculous. So, that's my review. You guys want to watch it, go watch it. Watch it on, you were warned first, okay? This movie was bad. It was terrible. Like I said, I'm a big Rock fan. I like his movies. I watched him when he wrestled. I'll continue to support The Rock and watch his movies, but this one was not very good. Again, Rock, please put Stone Cold Steve Austin in a movie. I think you could probably pull that off. You owe him one. I think you owe him one. He did your career good by you beat him in his very last match. He put you over. You owe him that. How about putting him in the throw him a bone? How bad? Make him the bad guy. Put him in a movie. You guys fucking fight. Make it real. I would watch that. That could be a cool movie. And Austin's not that bad of an actor. He's not great, but he's better than what I saw in that fucking movie. I can tell you that much right now. Jesus Christ. Skyscraper. Terrible. Later.